I still have Influencive. It's kind of consistently been growing, so it's a big platform with influencers and entrepreneurs and business people kind of sharing, mostly unconventional ideas, which is kind of the mindset I always try to be in. Is like, how can I think about things differently?
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Los, and today we are talking with Brian Evans. Just like in every other show, we're not actually gonna get started with your hero story and what you did. The odds are that, as everyone pretty much, he started with little money, grew something, and now it's big. So we're gonna talk today about what's happening today in his life, in his business, how he's running his business, and we're gonna talk about influencers, influencer marketing, the state of influencers in general, and what is coming up, and things that you might be able to take advantage of as an influencer or a content creator. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good.
It'd be funny if you had someone say, actually, no, I didn't start without little. I started out, I inherited $1 billion, and I now only have $1 million.
Yeah, dude.
wait.
I've never even heard that story, right? Like, people are like, oh, yeah, I was rich and now I'm richer. Like, it's always like,
Yeah.
something sucked.
Yeah.
I had to change.
Tough.
And I had a tough, coming up, and now I made it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I hate to like make everyone else's story the same, but we all, no one starts with like, yeah, dude, I was super successful, I was modeling,
I was killing it,
I had 7 girlfriends and 3 Lambos,
Yeah.
and then like things just got better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. But how you been?
Good. Yeah, very
Yeah?
good. Yeah, just different phase, kind of like just switching gears in a lot of ways.
So for everybody who doesn't know, even though this is actually probably going to be on your actual platform, tell everybody a little bit of what you're doing today and what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. I still have Influencive. It's kind of consistently been growing, so it's a big platform with influencers and entrepreneurs and business people kind of sharing, mostly unconventional ideas, which is kind of the mindset I always try to be in. Is like, how can I think about things differently? So I wanted to create a different type of outlet that wasn't just giving the same type of advice. Like, okay, here's how to do this. Here's how to do this. It was a little bit different. So that's going really well. I have a new company that I'm involved with called ShipChain. It's a blockchain platform for the freight and logistics industry. So it improves the technology and reduces costs for freight and logistics companies. So working on that. So that's kind of the new big thing that I've been working on.
That's kind of like where you're excited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
heavily
it's like a new industry. It kind of it's parallel with the crypto space a little bit. So it's kind of exciting times and new technology that we get to play with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're kind of shifting the way that the industry works, right? Because I mean, the freights and logistics shipping is.
Oh, it's an old industry.
Your dad's dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's got to be hard, and trying to put that whole thing together, I'm sure, is just like hard. Because I mean, I can, when I talk to older people, I mean, I'm barely getting them to install an app.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
That's gotta be hard.
Oh, the adoption, the curve for that is tricky, because especially in the freight industry, literally just recently they were using paper logs. If I'm a driver, I'm delivering something to you, I'm like, hey, can you sign my paper log? And like, they don't even using technology, period. So to go from paper logs and tracking on paper to technology, period, is difficult, let alone blockchain. It's like, people are like, what's blockchain? What's cryptocurrency? I've had somebody literally ask me if Ethereum was a virus, and I said no, but so yeah, it's definitely a new way of thinking for a lot of these people.
So you've always kind of been in the forefront of things, right? I mean, you started Influencive how long ago?
It's
3,
been
4?
like 4 years now. Yeah, at least 4.5.
Influencer marketing was a thing, but it wasn't what it is now, right?
Yeah,
so
it was just starting.
Yeah, now you're getting into ShipChain, which is like blockchain is still like it's super new,
just
right?
Getting there,
So you're always on the forefront of things. Where do you see kind of like where we are today with the state of the industry, so to speak, of influencers, influencer marketing, and that whole thing? What is it that you've seen? Because you talk with thousands of people that write for you, and just overall how you've grown that company. Like, you have all the connections, right? So you're really tied into what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, like, before you could just say I'm an influencer or something like that, and it was like this broad term, and I think now it's like, okay, we're all influencers. Like, so you have to kind of be more specialized now. So I think we're seeing, instead of just these generic broad, and there still will definitely be them, but less like generic influencers that just like a Jake Paul, who's not generic. I didn't mean it like that, but he's kind of has a broad audience. But you'll have more specific ones that'll be in like the blockchain space or crypto space or MMA or something really specific. And I think that's the shift that's happening now. Is like it's not just generic influencers anymore. It's more specialties. And I think also that just goes with being more unconventional. It's like and I always think like this myself. If I see everybody doing this, I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna look at that. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna go this way. Yeah. So just finding a way to just not do what the crowd's doing, because it's like inevitably that's gonna become saturated, and unless you're literally the best in the world, it's gonna be harder than finding some, like getting in front of the next curve rather than just jumping into something that's been going for 4 years. Yeah. If you had to kind of like help guide up and coming people, I guess we would call them influencers, but if you had to help kind of like guide them and shift, like help them with some shifts that you've seen changing or that are changing, what do you think the top 2 would be? I think the first thing is finding a way to make it feel like you're cheating the system. Because for me, I'd always, like Twitter was a good one for me. I've got more followers there than anywhere, and you find a way to, and it's hard with the existing platforms. So it's almost like a new platform or a newer platform. It's like they've got an algorithm, there's a specific point in their algorithm where you can capitalize and get a bunch of followers and really work that. Whereas like Instagram now, it's like the common thing we're hearing today is like, oh, I can't grow my followers on Instagram. It's hard because everyone's doing it. The algorithms have made it become really tight. It's hard to get ranked on certain pages and things like that. Whereas I'm always looking for like, okay, how can I find like the new platform that's got the traffic, that's not quite super saturated yet, that it feels like I'm literally cheating the system, where I'm doing something that and I don't mean literally cheating, I mean finding
what Facebook pages were.
Exactly.
What
find
Instagram
a little hack.
was at the beginning.
Yeah. Like there was a good one on Facebook for a while that you could put up an image, you could even boost the image, and then you'd get, let's say, 10,000 people like this image. You could then go back, click on the people that like the image, and then invite them to like your page. So it was like this little hack that worked. I think it still works to a limited capacity, but there was things, I would always look for things like that it feels like, okay, this feels like I'm cheating the system, and capitalize as long as you can. It only lasts a month or something, but then find the next thing.
I think one of the other newer hacks, I guess, is you don't have to be a huge influencer, but if you start a group on Facebook, you build the influence, right? Because I think the word influencer kind of it went from, like you said, right, it's massive, to like, oh wow, like you're an influencer, to I mean, I can have 100 people and be making $1 million a year, and to a degree all came from influence, right? So I think it's finding those little things. Like we have a group that we started working on in Facebook, and we have 60,000 people that all they're all in love with like health and fitness and stuff like that, and that the engagement on there beats million people Facebook pages, right? So it's really finding where the engagement is, where you can have the conversation, and how you can lead that. As you're moving in with Influencive and seeing, you do a lot of brand deals, you work with a lot of brands and stuff like that. How have you seen like influencers or brands start to work with influencers in that kind of dynamic move?
I've seen a shift recently. A company just asked me to, it's an auto manufacturer, and they wanted to, it's an agency involved, but they wanted to do like a campaign where I drive this car around. They researched me heavily, and they like found some video I did, and they're like, this is what we want the tone to be like, and it was very specific. And I remember years ago, it'd be like, they would just find some dude with a ton of followers and just take a picture, and we'll just blast it out 100 times and just turn and burn kind of thing. And I've noticed like a shift from like realizing it's not just find the biggest following account you can, but find something that's, like you were saying before, engagement. And you'll see, it's crazy. You'll see somebody with 150,000 followers that gets more real engagement than somebody with 2 million sometimes. Not always, but it can happen. And sometimes they have that more die-hard, true fan kind of audience that you're like, these are die-hard, real fans, like a Tim Ferriss kind of audience that like just anything he talks about, they're buying, eating up, versus like some generic, like funny guy account that's like, they sort of engage, but not really.
Yeah, so this is something that I talk about, and all the people that we help with, and consulting and coaching and the whole thing, right? Like you can build a huge account, kind of what you were saying with like Jake and Logan Paul. But they built their account off being pranksters. Essentially, they're actors. Like everyone thinks like, oh, they're acting. I mean, even Jake has said it in a few videos, right? Like, hey, this is like the persona I put on when I'm doing these videos, right? So they're acting, they're doing their thing. When it comes to other influencers kind of trying to do that, they try to be too general, and they get nothing, right? And they're just doing the beautiful picture pose and the this and the that, and it almost feels like you lose your influence if you get too big. You have to stay pretty grounded, and you have to have something that you actually want to be about, right?
For
a
sure.
lot of these
Yeah.
people, and I've met a ton, and I'm sure you've met a ton, that are like just gorgeous. They're gorgeous guys or they're gorgeous girls,
Yeah.
and like it's worked out for them for a long time. And then you're like, all right, man,
Smile and look good.
tell me about this thing that you do, or what you believe in, or what you want to sell, and they're just like, they got nothing.
Nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think as things grow, people are gonna start seeing that.
Oh,
and
for sure.
It's gonna kind of chop the industry down a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because no one wants to work with models anymore. They want to work with people that are experts. I think the biggest thing is experts need to learn how to become influencers, and influencers need to become experts at something.
For sure.
And
That's a good way to put it.
right now, like all you have is people spitting stuff out loud, saying stuff that other people said, and coaches coaching coaches on coaching how to coach coaches to coach coaches type of stuff, and everyone's just doing the same thing. And I think it's the people that do, like you said, the complete opposite and go, listen, I'm about this, this is who I talk to, this is who I don't want to talk to, and having actual like anti-fans, so to speak, and just haters or trolls or whatever, like getting those people to not like you is just as important, because it'll create all people that will like you, right?
Absolutely.
If you want to be liked by everyone, you will be loved by no one.
Exactly. No, that's a good point.